This is Good Morning Pine Belt on SuperTalk Laurel 99.3.
All right, good morning, Pine Belt. We are back. Thank you for tuning in this morning, wherever you may be listening. Here across the Pine Belt, right here on Super Talk. We've got a great show ahead of you today, but as always, we're coming to you live right here in historic downtown Laurel, right here on Central Avenue, and looking out at a little bit of a foggy day, kind of a dreary, but I think it's going to burn off here in a little while. But we're coming to you live here from the McLaurin Carpet Studio. Excited to get work here with McLaurin Carpets. Quality that will long be remembered after pricing is forgotten. You can go see them right there off of Highway 28 in the big town of Soso, Mississippi, or at McLaurinCarpets.com. Eventually, Junior, if you're listening, I will get you on this program eventually. So mind you that. Also, too, before we bring in our first guest of the day, I want to mention that this segment of Good Morning Pine Belt is brought to you by Community Bank. Local bankers, local decisions, and plenty of convenient locations. You can go check out Community Bank today. Any of the team members, Josh, Eric, the whole team, they will get you taken care of. All right, joining us now. This is one of the conversations that I always look forward to here. We have I think sometimes people forget how great of a resource we have in South Central Regional Medical Center here in Laurel, just right up the road from us here. And we're excited today to have from the, sorry, I have lost the name of your clinic, but she is Michelle Howard, and she is a licensed psychologist. And Miss Michelle, thank you for coming in this morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I am doing great. And there it is, South Central Behavioral Health Center. I found it.
Gotcha.
I told you that things get loosey-goosey around here sometimes, but that's all right. Well, Michelle, again, thank you for joining us this morning. First of all, I want to talk about kind of how you got here to Laurel. I know we were kind of talking off air, and you were almost here and then didn't get to come. So talk about kind of your journey back here to South Central.
Sure, no problem. And by the way, I'm a licensed clinical social worker.
Social worker. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's no problem. So back in about, I would say 2020, right before the pandemic hit, I had the opportunity to get hired on over at South Central, but the pandemic hit. Yeah. And so I think it hit a lot of different hospitals, clinics, and so we had to hold off. Yeah. And so, but I decided I'm still want to come back when the time is ready. And guess what? The time is ready, and I started this December, and I'm just super excited.
Yeah. So you're not. Are you from Laurel, Mississippi? Are you from the Laurel, even the Mississippi area?
No. So I'm actually originally from Birmingham.
Okay.
And so, but I started college about 1997 in Hattiesburg. Gosh, that's a while back ago. But I ended up, I was thinking, I'm going to move away when I get done from Hattiesburg.
Yeah, everybody.
But I was like, I love this place. Yeah. I'm going to stay here. And so I fell in love with the town. Yeah. And also, too, I really love a lot of the surrounding towns. You get to meet people not only from Hattiesburg, but also from Jones County and Perry County. And so I just fell in love with a lot of places around here. Yeah. So. And
I'm looking here. It looks like you picked the right school. You went to Southern, and you worked there as well. Talk about that time.
Sure. So not only did I go to school there for my undergrad, but I went there for my graduate school too.
There you go.
So I guess you can say I couldn't leave Southern for
a
long time.
I couldn't either. I understand that.
And so, but yes, I worked probably altogether 8 years over at Southern, and I didn't know if I was going to enjoy working with college students. Yeah. And so when I started working there, I was like, oh, wow, I really enjoy this population. My favorite thing about working with college students, this is the biggest time of growth, I think, during any time of your life between like the 18 and 25.
Right.
And so you're not only helping college students get through college, but you're also helping them to learn their identity, to understand themselves more. Yeah. And so this was great, a learning experience for me.
Yeah, because, I mean, you're right. For the most part, a lot of people, it's their first time out on their own. I know that was my case. I didn't really know life outside of living with my parents, so it really is an interesting time in people's lives. And that kind of brings us to our next subject. You're a social worker, therapist. I'm sure you're kind of doing a lot of therapies.
Yes.
It's kind of all ties in there together. Yes. But you are a social worker, and to kind of get the difference, what is the big difference there in maybe what a social worker does and a licensed therapist? What's kind of the biggest difference?
So it can get very confusing. Actually,
Yes.
it can get confusing for us who work
Yeah.
in the profession. So there is what I am is a licensed clinical social worker. In Mississippi, it's licensed certified social worker.
Okay.
So it can get really confusing. And so with a social worker, a licensed, so with a social worker, we have different routes we can go into, not just with therapy.
Okay.
And so we can do a lot of avocation work. We can
Okay.
work, with Department of Human Services.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different avenues that we can go into. And so I pick specifically clinical.
Okay.
And so this is where I focus more on doing therapy.
Okay.
And so with a licensed psychology counselor, their specific focus is dealing with therapy.
Gotcha.
And also there's a licensed marriage family therapist too.
Okay. Yep.
And so their focus is usually with families and also
Right.
couples, but they also will work with individuals.
Okay. Well, there you go. It's all adding up there. It's clear as mud, as people say.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's confusing.
It can be. It
Yes.
can be. But
Yeah.
no, you hit the gist there. All right. So let's talk about what specifically you're doing now
Sure.
at the South Central Behavioral Health Center.
Sure. So I work with adults 18 and over. I really will see almost anybody.
Okay.
I also too will do individual therapy
Okay.
there. I work there Monday through Fridays, 8 to 5. And the type of specifically what I do is I work with individuals who may be dealing with depression, anxiety.
Yeah.
But also, too, we have a lot of people come in who are dealing with loss and grief. And one of my area of specialties is trauma.
Okay.
But also, too, I tell people you don't have to have like some serious mental health diagnosis. Some
Yeah.
people may be going through a change in their life.
Yeah.
Maybe they're, I'm a new parent,
Yeah.
or your parents are leaving to go to college. Not your parents, gosh,
Yeah.
going to college, but your children are leaving to go to college,
Yeah.
or you're having a breakup in a relationship.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to come in, just have a few sessions.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of different reasons that people can come in. I'll also work with people with dealing with alcohol and drug issues. So
Okay.
that's probably, mostly.
I got you. So going back to kind of the difference in therapy and social work, I know a lot of times like therapy and different things, like they kind of get into even the medical world a little bit and like writing prescriptions and doing things like that. Y'all don't do necessarily like that. You're just kind of there to be a sounding board for someone to talk to, correct?
Yes, we provide. We provide guidance and support.
Okay.
And so I think one of the misconceptions in therapy is that we tell people what to do.
Yeah.
And so how we work is that we have our patients will let us know, what is your goal? What do you
Yeah.
want to accomplish? And so what my goal for you is to help guide you to be able to make steps to accomplishing that goal,
Right.
or hopefully even accomplish that goal.
Yeah.
And sometimes in the therapy process, when you learn more about yourself more, guess what? Your goal may change.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm here for. Now I will, can teach you, educate you, support you, but I'm not here to tell you what your goal is.
Right. Gotcha. You got to come in. You got to at least give you something to work with.
Yes. And sometimes we have to start there.
And figure out what that is.
And sometimes, I have people say, like, I really don't know what I want, but I know I don't like where I am now.
Yeah.
And so we take time to explore that.
Yeah.
And try to figure that out to help them.
Yeah. So do you find age range wise, you have, I know you like to focus on the kind of the college age. Do you find you have more of those, or does the age really just kind of vary pretty wildly?
So I enjoy working like with all adult ages, and so it's really a wide range.
Yeah.
And like my generation, I call the Generation X, I'm seeing more reflex of my generation coming in.
Yeah.
And that I'm really happy to see that.
Yeah.
Because I think when I was growing up, I think there was a lot of stigma regarding with mental health.
Yeah.
And so I'm really happy to see that. But I also see a lot of young people coming in.
Yeah.
I see like, a big range of population.
So my final question as we finish the last minute or so here, what are maybe some signs that people need, if they start seeing those signs in their lives, like maybe I need to reach out to old Michelle and schedule an appointment?
Sure. That's a really good question. So what I say, to people is like, look at how your life is being impacted, meaning that, okay, am I noticing with my job, there's some impact in my work if I'm not able to complete my assignments, or if I'm not able to, my just relationships with people at work are not as good, or at home I'm not able to complete my task as good, or looking at, just your everyday life, you notice that there's an impact, regarding with your emotional symptoms, behavioral symptoms. And so just notice any changes that are affecting your life.
Okay, good deal. All right, well, with that said, if somebody hears that and they either think, hey, this is something that maybe I need to look into, or I know somebody that does, how do they get in touch with you guys over there? And is it hard to make an appointment?
So all they have to do is be able to call our phone number or come see us. And so our phone number is 601-426-9614, and we are located right near Harbor Freight.
Yeah.
And so that's probably the easiest way, but I will give you our address too. It's 2002D Highway 15 North in Laurel, Mississippi.
Y'all are right there by Peak Physical Therapy, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
I know exactly.
Exactly.
Where you are. Well, Miss Michelle, thank you so much for coming on this morning. I think these are incredible services that y'all are offering there. Just another great service offered by our friends over at South Central. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. All right. When we come back, we're going to be talking with our good friend, Miss Amanda from Dixie Electric. So stick around. Good morning, Pine Belt. We'll be right back.
Good morning, Pine Belt. SuperTalk Laurel 99.3.
All right. Good morning, Pine Belt. We are back. Our thanks to Miss Michelle Howard there with the South Central Behavioral Center. Right there off of Highway 15. If you know where Harbor Freight is and Peak Physical Therapy, and the old McCoy's Home Hardware Center, our friends over there, it's just right there. You can't miss it. So our thanks to them. Go check them out. If something she said sounds like maybe it's you or maybe it's a friend, go talk to Michelle and the team over there. Just another great resource that we have with South Central. And before we bring in our next guest, I do want to mention that this segment of Good Morning Pine Belt is brought to you by Dixie Electric Power Association, a member-owned electric co-op that offers broadband internet. You can go check out DE Fastlink today. And Amanda, I say all the time, if somebody is a Dixie member yet and they don't have DE Fastlink yet, maybe they just like slow internet. So
like, what are they doing?
I don't really know. Well, Amanda, it is Fat Tuesday here, and neither one of us are in purple.
Yeah, like you so eloquently said, we can't let anybody think we're LSU fans.
No, heaven forbid that somebody thinks that I would ever in my entire life. There's not a lot of teams I would just absolutely not root for, and LSU is one of them. And if you're an LSU fan and you're listening, I'd still love you to listen to the show, but LSU's the worst. All right, so we'll move on. We'll move on from that. Amanda, I know we were kind of talking off air, and I know y'all got lots of things, but y'all got just about all your guys home, huh?
Yes, we finally got our guys home over the weekend, and we sent all 4 crews. We have 4 crews at Dixie, and all 4 went somewhere during Winter Storm Fern. We even, for the first time ever, sent fiber techs.
Okay.
So, we've always concentrated on power restoration, but internet restoration now is a thing statewide, and that actually takes a little longer.
Oh, because are they all underground? Is that?
Yeah, well, and you have to resplice the fiber, and it's real time intensive, and so that was new for us. We were thankful to send some techs up there because if we ever find ourselves in need, we hope this part of being a cooperative, they'll return the favor, and so. But these guys are made of something else. I'm telling you, I had the opportunity to go to Pontotoc that first week while our guys were up there and visit with them, take some pictures and get some video and stuff, and just seeing the elements. It was freezing that day.
Yeah.
I tried not to complain because I knew that they,
they're going to be in it all day.
Yeah, and I have such an appreciation for what they do.
Yeah.
And you look at a lot of them that are out there. That we have one who had a newborn baby at home, and he never complained. They're made of a grit that you just don't see in some other occupations. And so there's a lot of appreciation to be had, and they're thankful to go and answer that call when needed. And we're thankful that we get that reciprocated when we're in times of need. So.
Absolutely. And I know we were kind of talking too. They're still in a pretty bad way up there.
Yes. All of our crews are home, but there are still several co-ops that are, even though they've done what they can to get power back on, there's some that still have people without power, but there's still just infrastructure that's damaged that, they put a Band-Aid on to get people back on, but there's lots of work to be done to get them back.
Yeah, it's a tough situation, thankfully. And that's one thing that I have noticed about our state is, man, it doesn't matter, co-op, whoever, we're going to work together to get it fixed. Man, that's the great part about living in Mississippi. Well, let's focus a little bit more on what is happening at Dixie Electric. And I know we talked about this briefly the last time we were in, but all these things that y'all do for the community, they're not free. And y'all have to do some fundraisers occasionally. And in fact, this fundraiser is for some people in the community. So let's talk about what y'all got going on this next month.
So we have our golf tournament, our annual charity golf tournament coming up on March the 26th. And we would love for some local businesses to partner with us with whole sponsorships. We do have some, if you want to play golf, we do have a few. I think we have 6 open slots left for teams. But if you don't want to play golf, but you still would like to advertise your business while also helping the community, we would love to partner with you with our whole sponsorship. They're $150. Your logo goes on a sign next to a hole, and you can sign up for one of those either on our website or giving us a call, 601-425-2535. But it's a great way, like I said, you can advertise your business but also help a great cause. I mean, all of these funds go to different organizations within our 7-county footprint who feed children with food insecurities. They do that through the school system, and it's such a special thing that's close to our hearts. And so any way we can give back to help fund these programs, because it takes a lot of money to make these programs work. When you talk about the amount of kids that they feed and the amount of food that they give them to go home with them at night and on the weekends, it takes a lot. So we're proud to partner with these organizations, but in order for us to do that, we could really use some whole sponsorships. But the tournament itself is March the 26th at the Laurel Country Club. Like I said, if you want to play, if you're listening and you play golf and you would like to get a team together, we'd love to have you join us. You can either play, get a whole sponsorship, and just help us with this great cause.
And I know that every year when I drive by when this y'all's tournament, my gracious, that place is packed out. Y'all do a really good job over there. And y'all have, is this a 2 flight, if I remember?
Yes, there's a morning flight and an afternoon flight, and we provide lunch as well. And breakfast.
There you go. More lunch and breakfast provided. I'm probably going to lean towards the whole sponsorship because I don't think y'all want to see me play golf. I know people say they're bad, but when I tell you I'm exceptionally bad, I'm exceptionally bad at golf. So I'll just stick to sponsoring on the on the other side of things. But I know that that's really important for what y'all do. And we're going to get to the touch a truck here in a minute. But I want to talk about, obviously, it is coming up between tornado season and all the different seasons that we have here across the Pine Belt, and bad weather, and we just had some big windstorms come through just over the last couple of days. So bad weather is coming, and with bad weather a lot of times comes power outages.
Right. One of the things I wanted to touch on today is when your power goes out, you automatically think it would be weather related. We saw a lot of comments over the weekend. We had a large outage, and there's like, it's not even bad weather. The bad weather's not even here. That's not the only thing that causes power outages. There was a horrible wreck on Highway 29 that took out a pole, and when that happens, it does cause power outages. So it's just being cognizant and patient that every time your power goes out doesn't mean it has to be weather related. Wrecks, trees, limbs, squirrels. Squirrels are one of the biggest causes of unexpected power outages.
So, quick funny story about squirrels and power outages was when I was working at Southern, there's that the power plant there that kind of powers the whole school. And one day, and we had this a couple times where the power would go out, and typically within about 30 minutes, it was back on. Well, it was like 2 hours later, and the power had still not come back on. And we come to find out it was the whole campus. And then about an hour later, we got a picture, and there was a squirrel that got into the power grid and shut down the entire Southern Miss campus for the whole day. So, yes, now that was a very cooked squirrel, and I have a picture of it that I'll show you later. But yes,
usually they don't survive.
Squirrels can cause problems.
Squirrels can. So, I mean, it's inconvenient, and we understand. Nobody wants to lose power. We don't want to lose power in our own homes. But, it does not have to be bad weather to lose power. So, and then, with those car wrecks like that, we can't immediately restore power. You have to let law enforcement take
Clean
that scene
up,
over and clean up and give us the okay. And so a lot of times you're sitting there waiting for them to do whatever they need to do, especially when it's a severe wreck.
Yeah.
And so and when it happens in the middle of the night, we're having to call those employees out. I mean, they're home asleep in bed, so and they answer that without hesitation. But still, it takes time.
Yeah,
it takes some time to get there. So.
Yeah, so be patient. As someone who's my wife previously worked at Dixie, I know some of the calls that she's gotten. Just be patient because y'all know when y'all are working on it.
Yeah, right. So it's just being cognizant too that it can be a blue sky day and you still have power interrupted. There's other causes than bad weather. So
absolutely. So that's very important to remind people of that. But also too, I know we talked about the golf tournament and what y'all are doing there in the community. Let's talk a little bit about Touch a Truck. I know we're going to talk more about that with Miss Biz Harris here in a week or so. But let's talk. Y'all are going to be at Touch a Truck.
We are. This is a time-honored tradition for us. We love to come. We have tons of goodies for your kids. So if you want to stop by, it's the first Saturday in March. Come find our booth. We have a bucket truck with a lineman, and the kids always get to interact with a lineman. It's always fun to watch, and we usually always choose a lineman who's really good with kids and wants to interact with them, and they can get their picture made with a lineman. They're going to get lots of goodies from our tent, and so just come by and see us. We'd love for you to, and then we'll also have somebody there with DE FastLink if you have any questions about DE FastLink and how it works, and so all the good things. So
I've got a picture still of Emmy with the lineman gloves on. And it's the cutest thing to watch him do all that.
Yeah.
But that's just one thing. Yeah, but y'all have some more stuff that y'all are doing in the community.
We're busy. This time of year, we're in schools a lot. We have several books we go read to kids, which is always fun. You have daycare age, and then those first, second grade kind of is the oldest you kind of go to read a book. After that, they're looking at you like they don't care. But anyway, we love to be in schools. We have STEM projects. We have a new program called Webby the Cat where we teach internet safety.
Okay.
That's just as important as teaching electrical safety.
Cat,
Webby the Cat. And so, but we are teaching electrical safety. That's so important. And that's an obligation we feel very led to do in our schools because if not us, who? Yeah. And so we want to go in there and make sure our kids know how to be safe around electricity. Yeah. And so if I know a lot of your teachers are in school right now, probably not listening to this, but we would love to come to your school. Invite us. We would love to come and educate your kids. We have so many different programs that we can come in and do.
Well, it's important. You got to start with an early age. I know that it's been around for a while, and I know it's a different company, but I remember the old Mississippi Power with the little lightning bug.
Right.
Yeah. So it's important to teach that in an early age. And Amanda, we always appreciate y'all coming on and what y'all are doing in the community. Remind people real quick of how they can sign up for the golf tournament, sponsor, or just playing.
So on our website, DixieEPA.com, we have a section that says Charity Golf Tournament. The sign-up button is at the very bottom.
There you go. She's Amanda Mills with Dixie Electric and DE FastLink. Thank you for coming in, Amanda.
Thanks for having me.
All right. When we come back, we're going to be talking some sports. Exciting things happening here in the city of Laurel on the sports world. So stick around. Good Morning Pine Belt. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to Good Morning Pine Belt on SuperTalk Laurel 99.3.
All right. Good Morning Pine Belt. We're back here in the McLaurin Carpets Studios. Our thanks to Miss Amanda Mills there with Dixie Electric. Great community partner that's continuing to do great things here across the Pine Belt. Before we bring in our next guest, I do want to mention that this segment of Good Morning Pine Belt is brought to you by Bank First. Our good friends over there at Bank First. Great people, still all the same people that you knew and trust there from Magnolia State Bank. A lot of new technology and a new name. It's all it is. You can go check out Bank First today. Speaking of, they just had their first Perks incentive day where you could go by and get some great things was there. That's going to start happening every month, so keep an eye on their social for their Perks incentive if you are a Bank First member or if you want to become a Bank First member. So also too, before we bring in our next guest, I want to remind you that we are still in the process of the March of Mayors food drive there with the City of Laurel, extra table feeds. It's really across the Pine Belt, but specifically here in Laurel. We are collecting tuna. And, Miss Christie's right here. I'm going to put her on the spot. Who won the Big Tuna Challenge?
The fire department won again this year, only by a little bit.
There you go. The fire department won by just a little bit. Our thanks to everybody there who helped and participated with the fire department. So you still got time. We still got to the end of the month to participate in that. So go get you some tuna, drop it at the police stations, the fire stations, or at City Hall. In fact, I know they've gotten so much at City Hall that they've had to kind of rotate. So you're doing a great job out there, and keep that going through the end of the month. Speaking of the City of Laurel, and I'll tell you what, there's a lot of things that I get excited about, but if you listen to this show, sports is definitely one of them, and particularly here in the City of Laurel. And today our next guest is Mr. Jerrold McRae, and we're here to talk about something exciting that is starting up, and they are in the process of getting it rolling. But Mr. Jerrold, first of all, thank you for coming in this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, Mr. Jerrold, what y'all are working on here, and as everybody knows, in Mississippi, in particular in Laurel, we have so many people that, a lot of people don't know they're from here, but particularly in sports, and y'all are working on starting a Hall of Fame. And when I saw this, I was super excited because, as I told you, I'm a huge sports fan,
right,
and I'm just a big museum nerd too, so anything related to museums, I'm all in. So first of all, talk about how the idea kind of came to you to start this.
Great. Yeah, it was a little kind of brainstorm of, as I traveled the city, I've noticed how a lot of locations have decided to do a Hall of Fame, whether it's in the city or the county. And Oak Park High School has an alumni association that has the Hall of Fame as well. And I said, well, I started looking at that, and I said, well, why not have one for the entire city?
Yeah.
And include all 4 schools.
Right.
Really. You start talking about Gardner, you're looking at Oak Park, you're looking at R.H. Watkins, and as well as Laurel High, which kind of is one and the same. But that whole concept came from that, shared it with the mayor, and I really want to give a shout out to him because he embraced it.
Yeah.
When I talked about it and said, hey, this is a great idea, I want to get in behind it.
Yeah.
Hey, let's start putting some people together and really talk about seeing how we can make it work.
Absolutely. So, there are some legends really that have come. One obviously that pops out, and that's the first one in everybody's mind, is Ralph Boston. Of course, that's right there, and that's a big name. But there's some big. We just had one, Charles Cross, who just won in the Super Bowl. So, talk about the process of how it's going. Like, obviously, it's not started yet. What's the process going to look like to have a museum, to start a museum?
Well, the process is really going to be brought about just by the people as a whole.
Yeah.
Being able to help bring us all up to speed about some of those individuals that they're aware of, that have done great things. And one of the greatest points that as I do my research, and I look at it from a historical standpoint, I look at from the segregation standpoint of how Gardner and Oak Park pretty much had extraordinary talent during that time as a whole. Yeah. And just looking at now going into a new generation, a new segment of life when you come to desegregation, they both mirrors the same thing. They had great high school athletes that went on to college, and also that went on to the pros. So the biggest part about it is getting that nomination form in. We're going to look at those. We're going to rate those forms, and then be able to come out with a really successful class.
So let's talk about that for a minute. Obviously, y'all are working on the initial inaugural class. If somebody's listening, or if they've seen it on Facebook and they're like, hey, I know this, and this name, and they're like, I think they'd be great for it. What's the process look like to nominate somebody?
Well, the process is, and we've had a great job of putting that on the website as a whole. You'll go in and you'll fill out that application process. Yeah. The name, recommend the person that you feel will be honored and that inducted into that category. Okay. And then move from there. It'll go to the recreation department. Okay. Recreation department then will make sure that our nominating chair will be able to review those and then turn it to the executive committee so that we can come make a decision on who will be those successful honorees. Yeah, and I'm looking at here, and it is right just on the website. Miss Christie and the team have done a great job of making that very easy. So let's talk about the nomination process. Obviously, that's how you nominate, but
when y'all go to select these people in the inaugural class, obviously there's got to be some kind of criteria. You can't let everybody in there. It's not a Hall of Fame. Right. It's not a Hall of Great. It's a Hall of Fame. Talk about what that looks like.
Well, when you look at that whole process, we have a criteria in place where that coming out of high school, you're talking about 10 years past that point.
Okay.
That's going to be the steps that we'll go by. And then after that process, you'll look at what these individual has accomplished from a high school standpoint, scholastic.
Okay.
Then also going to college if that's the case, and whether or not they went to the next level in that particular sport.
Okay.
And then just kind of looking at all that information, gathering that, processing that, and come out with someone that we feel would be worthy of being selected into that position.
Okay. And I'm looking too, and this is not just open to athletes or former athletes. It's also open to former coaches and even people who have just contributed to the sports scene in general in Laurel.
Of course, and we realize that an athlete is not successful without having that support system.
Right. Right.
And that first support system comes from their coach.
Yep.
Who's working with them on a regular basis. Then you also have those sports fanatics, or those people who have played sports over the years, and who wants to support the program.
Yeah.
We use the term sometimes friends of sports.
Yeah.
And you have those people who have given money, who have given their time and their resources. Right. And we think they should be recognized as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm looking here too, and y'all got, I mean, it's not super strict, but there are some things. You got to have a minimum of 2-year letterman. Right. You got to have some postseason honors if you're a player. Coaches, it's got to be 10 years after their death or retirement. And y'all also base it off win-loss percentage if they had number of players. And so there's a lot that goes into it. So when this process starts, as people put in these names that they believe should be in the Sports Hall of Fame, about how long are y'all kind of anticipating this process taking from now until, hey, we're ready to open?
Yeah, well, it's
open. Hoping anyway.
Yeah, it's open now. And I think our deadline is March the 20th.
Okay, to put in for the inaugural class.
Put into the inaugural class. And then we're shooting for some time frame somewhere between October, November to try to have a first class. Okay,
that'll be awesome. And so you have until March 20th to put in. And I'm looking at now, it's really easy. You just go to laurelms.com, Parks and Rec Department, and it's just right there. It's got the criteria and selection process and the nomination form, and it all goes right there. So, excuse me, Mr. Jerrold, just kind of based off your knowledge of Laurel and everything, put you on the spot a little bit. Who are maybe your top 3 from the city of Laurel, coach, whatever athlete?
Well, I tell you, Ralph Austin, of course, always going to come to mind. But I've also looked at some other individuals who've done great jobs. I mean, we have individuals who facilities are named after and some of the colleges around the country. Like you said, you don't want to put me on the spot by putting those names out there. But, we have guys, like you say, there's a guy named Theodore Nicholson, back in 1969, was the first round pick in baseball. That graduated from Oak Park. We have coaches such as Coach Fry. That had coached at Oak Park and other schools around the area. So we have a good number of individuals that could be considered in that spot.
I think sometimes people forget it's not an individual but a team, that we had a semi-pro baseball team here in the Laurel Blackcats.
Laurel Blackcats, Mr. Watson, who had been who was very supportive in that. And then you still have to recognize my coach, my former coach, George Blair. Who's done a great job coaching on the high school level, coached a little bit in college, and he also played in the professional sports. So
there's just so much history here in Laurel. I know that. For instance, the Laurel High School Stadium was the first stadium with lights in the state. So there's a lot of history here in the sports. So I'm really excited for this. Sorry, I had something else I was going to ask you too, but I completely forgot. But it's all right. As we look forward, I know y'all is this going to be kind of a moving around type of museum, or y'all looking for a set location type deal?
At this point, we're discussing a set location.
Okay.
Set location, brick and mortar. somewhere here in the city where, it could be a part of the tourism route that people can come by and look at and get familiar with the history, the generational that's involved in this whole process of Hall of Fame between, the early 40s and 50s now to 2025. Yeah. And I think people would be very impressed with what we have to offer. And we rank Laurel is ranked pretty much right up there when you start talking about sports. And you
absolutely.
About, guys who've been drafted in the first round, guys now that's played in the Super Bowl. Yeah. We got an individual who's been in the Olympics. So we got a lot of talent that we should be able to put out there for people to understand what Laurel has to offer.
Yeah, and I'm really excited. Oh, I remember my question before we're ending. Is this just eligible for people or coaches or whoever who are from directly in the city limits?
Yes, in the city that's associated with those schools.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. Well, he's Mr. Jerrold McRae with the City of Laurel Sports Hall of Fame that they are working on getting that. Hey, remind people real quick of the deadline to register for the inaugural class to put in your nominees.
That would be March 20th by 5 p.m.
That March 20th, and go right there to the City of Laurel website, click on Parks and Recreation, and it's right there. Thank you so much. I'm sure we'll have him on again before we have the launch date and once the inaugural class is ready to be announced. But, Mr. Jerrold, I appreciate you coming in, and I'm really excited for it.
Thanks a lot, and we really do appreciate this opportunity.
Absolutely. All right. When we come back, we're going to be talking about another cool learning opportunity we're having right here in the Pine Belt. So stick around. Good Morning Pine Belt. We'll be right back.
We're back to Good Morning Pine Belt. SuperTalk Laurel 99.3.
All right. Good Morning Pine Belt. We are back. Thank you for tuning in this morning. Hey, don't forget that if you missed any part of the show, or if you want to go back and listen, or if you just can't get enough of Good Morning Pine Belt, which I can understand why, you can always go back to our SuperTalk Laurel YouTube page and listen back to any of the segments. Great show that we had today, and we're going to wrap it up with another great thing that's coming up. First of all, our thanks to Mr. Jerrold McRae there, City of Laurel Sports Hall of Fame. Really excited to get that going this year, and it'll be just another great place where people can visit and learn more about the history of Laurel. Excited for that. And before we bring in our final guest, I want to mention that this segment of Good Morning Pine Belt is brought to you by K-Rocks, right there off of Highway 11 in Ellisville. It's almost 10 o'clock. You can go see my buddy Rocky and the team over there at K-Rocks, get you a good chick on a stick and some homemade lemonade. Hey, don't sleep on the burgers at K-Rocks. I'm just telling you. And then when it gets a little bit warmer, you can just slide on over and get you a little snake and a snow biz over there at Crazy Cons as well. So our thanks to Rocky and the team over there at K-Rocks. Good food. Oh, yeah. All right, joining us now from First State Bank in conjunction with the Jones County Chamber of Commerce and the Jones County EDA is Miss Lorin Pugh, and she is with First State Bank. And first of all, Lorin, thanks for joining us this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So let's jump in because we got a little bit, not a ton of time and a lot to talk about. So this is an event that the Chamber has hosted here for the last, Chris, I'm going to put you on the spot. How many years? 5 years. And it's a great event. So talk about the event that's coming up here in just about a week.
Yeah, so First State Bank is really excited again to be the 5th year in a row presenting sponsor in coordination with the Jones County Chamber of Commerce. This leadership forum is something that we've done since COVID. We've had several different speakers over the year. We've had Landon Bryant, we've had Robert St. John, Marlon Williams, and Dr. Sam Jones.
Yeah.
And it's been a really exciting event. It's grown year over year, and it's been something that we've really enjoyed being a part of. It really drives economic growth and helps with our workforce development and training in our community. And for us at First State, it's just really a way that we're excited to give back to the community.
Yeah.
And really support the businesses that we work with day in and day out.
Absolutely, and I've had the pleasure of attending a couple of these, and it really is a very informative event as well as a great networking event. So talk about kind of what the event is going to look like, what kind of the goal of it is, and the overall arching of it.
Yeah, so this year we're going to have Dr. Joe Paul.
Yeah.
He's the president at USM. I know you're a big USM fan.
Yeah.
And so he's going to be our presenting speaker this year in our keynote. And we're really excited to have him. He's a dynamic speaker,
Yes.
but he's also worked in leadership for decades now, and just a very talented individual. And we're really excited to learn from him. He's going to be sharing a lot of practical tips on leadership, and I think it's a really good opportunity not only for entrepreneurs and small business owners, but people who want to grow their teams. And it's just a good opportunity for us to come together as a community, share strategies, insights, and be a part of a community that supports one another. And so we're excited for another year for sure.
Absolutely. I obviously had the pleasure of hearing Joe Paul speak numerous times, being a student there, and he was a long-time dean of students and everything. And he really is, like you said, a lot of times you get these events and they're talking way over your head and these grand overarching things. And what I love about Dr. Paul is he does bring it down to a practical level. It's not advice to be like, man, I'm not the CEO of Starbucks here. I'm on a business down the street. And that's what I like about Joe Paul. He makes it very relatable. So the event in itself, what is kind of the layout when people show up? Is it the whole time? Is it break off? What's the event itself look like?
Sure. So we're actually trying a few different things this year.
Okay.
Typically, we've done the event at Life Church, and they've been a great venue sponsor for us over the years. But we're actually moving over to Flint Road, where the Wayne Sanderson and Dixie Electric building is. And so we're actually going to be transitioning the leadership forum over there this year.
Okay.
And so it starts at 11:30 next Tuesday, the 24th. And so we'll start with networking at 11:30, and then at noon we'll have the speaker, and it's going to be a seated meal this year, which is really exciting.
Oh, so you eat while he's speaking?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. So that's going to be a little easier for us logistically, help people get in and out, because we know that's hard on your lunch break. But it's going to be something that we're really excited to kind of mix up and change this year, and I think it'll be really good for our community.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of that, if somebody's listening and they're like, hey, I really want to participate, I know there's still time. You got Chris told me off air. I like to ask now ahead of time. There's still time to sign up. How do people do that?
Yeah, so you can sign up by visiting the Jones County's Chamber's website, so joneskounty.com/events, or you can call the Chamber office at 601-649-3031. And so, of course, Chamber members, they do have their own tickets, and you can buy extra tickets. And if you're not a Chamber member, definitely consider it. You can definitely join even if you're not. And so we want to be sure to invite anyone that's outside of Jones County within Jones County. So it'll be a really good opportunity this year.
Absolutely. Well, I'm really excited for it, and I know I will be there, and a couple of people from my team. So, Lorin, first of all, thanks to First State Bank for putting on these events, because they couldn't do it without you. But we're excited for the event, and thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, that does it for Good Morning Pine Belt today. We'll be back tomorrow with more good information for you, so stick around. Until then, as always, keep your dial right here on SuperTalk Laurel 99.3.